Hello and welcome as it is the completion of the 22nd day of November 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of the like within each's own risk and their own reward. This video, I'll look at Bitcoin, LITECOIN. I'm going to go over some nice long-term predictions, and I'm really confident within them, within that of the LITECOIN price, and even overall within the general of everything. All right then. So yeah, for myself, risk reward management's always job number one. I think that's very important. So however you trade, again, all the bets you do, I say that at the start of my video, not because I think you're supposed to do it for a disclaimer every time, but I do think understanding risk reward management and bankroll management really is. Maybe I'm overly obsessed with bankroll management, and I really that could be it. And then that just goes in turn within risk reward management. So Bitcoin having a very supreme start of a breakout, I think, anyway. I mean, it's only started to get above the 18 average of highs. So I look at 18,478 today versus that of as it's rising up there in the middle of December, 35 months ago. I see it. Wow. I mean, way big major sell, major buy differentials at this stage. As here we see this well overextended from the 18 average of highs, well extended from this level, and of course it has a decent sized correction, mainly through that of time, and a couple price corrections here and there, mainly here, and then of course the March incident. But I've been thinking this for a while, that it almost seems as if I at least think there's going to be a significant break leg higher. So key high, that's going to extend, what would be the next one? We have this high. Then this one, of course, extending that. So key high, key low, key high, key low, and thus a key high somewhere above here, conservatively 60, 70, 80,000. What happens after that? I don't know. Within Bitcoin, I think there's going to be an interesting situation that will not be pretty for Bitcoin on the event of moving up to 60, 70, 80,000, and especially as it's doing so in a bull market. And it always has to do it on its first time there, of course, in that of a bull market, where you'll see fees just outrageous for the cost. I checked up yesterday; it wasn't not bad, but if you're not sending too much cash, it worked out to be like $1 US. I didn't send any, but I'm going to be keeping my eye on withdrawal fees. If you're on Binance, it's still costing 50,000 Satoshi. So it's becoming very, very expensive to withdraw from Binance, like $10 now. Approximately at 20,000 it would be, so a hair below that now. $9.50 or whatever, $9.30. That's expensive, but and if it's going to be expensive on the blockchain, they ain't going to be reducing, and they usually be in exchanges, the fees towards such. So yeah, very good setup to me as I'm looking at this. Market is well overextended amongst the daily term time frame. What I see is that it really hasn't had any major extended push, in that this resistance line hasn't been broken. It's also been a long time since this exitation, and even this one as well. So that makes it, of course, very overextended. Yes, at some point it's going to have to correct. We've seen possible signs within the intraday session today that it might, but even if you just look at it as it is, again, well overextended from the highs, or the 18 average of highs, that is. Way extended from the lows. We had a sell-off, and it looks like the buyers are just coming back in. Buyers are in control of this market at a really decent rate right now. And now when I look at this, I'm thinking, okay, so if we have moves like this, we've had a little bit, is this bull market over for the run? Well, I'd have to look at it more in the shorter term time frame. Within the hour, there's that big sell-off, and look how quick that the buyers come back into the market. So we have this support established, and it pretty much hits it, really piercing above, which, I mean, usually you think maybe come down here a bit more. Either way, comes down and it hits a match of this 3x hits time support. And then it comes up to the 18 where it really doesn't resist, and it just continues to go further. In fact, it's now attempting to do what didn't even resist this, showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs, and now correcting amongst this move within this. So whenever I see something like this, and something like this is that great recovery that had the move to the highs like this, and then like 5, 6, 7 periods like this showing strength like this, that just shows me how powerful the retracement is from this key low to this key high. If you see weakness at the 61.8% down move, approximately down around here, and you see any type of setup where it's looking like it's going to go down, this is telling me that this entire run's a failed breakout. And at least for the intermediate or shorter, whatever shorter term time frame, that this sell move has at least another leg for probably breaking these lows and thus testing some other areas like 4-hour term time frame. You see situation in here, you'd be going up, and then now you'd be looking at well, of course, you'd be looking to break down amongst here. Well, basically, key levels of support where we came from, if we're going to have any correctionary moves back, 15,400, around 15,400, up to that about 16,400 as a possible area of support if this little area here that is in play does not hold. All right, then. So that will be it for Bitcoin. And I'm going to talk about Litecoin and some projections of which it has against the United States dollar. Right now, $82.58. And gold and silver really not doing anything today. So I'm not going to, until it does something, I'm not going to cover it for a while, which will probably be a couple, 3 days or whatever. But this is the Bitcoin Litecoin video. All right, then. So 4-hour term. Nice bunch of higher highs, higher lows, but I have this line in here at 68.25, and it had very little resistance here. A guy here on the 23 stamp on November 15th. Then it consolidated amongst low volatility for the next period, and it convincingly broke it. And it's once came back to it on the 23 stamp again on the November 17 day. And then since then, making this high and just showing more of this correctionary move again. And, well, this is that short term. On the daily term, like Bitcoin, nicely overextended. So we can still, to me, this is almost like liftoff support as I talk about it. We haven't had any comeback support. If we're going to have it, we probably should or probably definitely could. But liftoff and comeback support are two different things. This liftoff support is when you first get above it, which happens here. Then you make some sort of noticeable high above it, which is the case at 76.25. Then you come back to that area, which it does. And then you just start to go higher, break, of course, your high of 77 change, which it has done. And it's managed to get up to about 87. Let me see what's the high for 88 even amongst Coinbase. So that's, and now a comeback would be, have a significant move, and it usually, although it could be one day or one period, usually within multiple periods coming back, like 2, 3, 4, 6 is more likely of an event that it would do it. Now, as it goes, when we look at this on the weekly term time frame, this is where, to me, it's very, very interesting. This is almost like you're in the early stages of buy zone. I almost think that 136 is amongst high probabilities. Yeah, we're still battling this level of resistance here. I do understand that. And it's a monstrous pierce above 68.25. But I see the inverted head and shoulders pattern. So the breakdown starting here in September, this little bit here, or right, the early 2020 stuff is the left shoulder. And if we look at the neckline at Fibonacci area at 68.25, we have the hitting this level of resistance here. The right shoulder, of course, from the August highs and the September lows. And we've seen in here, after getting up to the 18 average of highs, the 3 periods that preceded this current month or week right now, up that of 32.88%. And the week is coming to an end in about 60 seconds. Literally. You can see here, there's a time ticker right there. So a productive week, to say the least. And I do really feel that it's going to make its move to 136. We might have the same, like I just mentioned before, the comeback support. We might have that, where we now just barely broke above it, get nicely above this. Maybe we come back, and it's all maybes, of course, but to 68. And I'll be interested to see where the 18 average of highs comes in at. Right now, the 18 average of highs is in at 61.25. Now it's going to go up in 24 seconds. I'm going to keep it amongst this time frame. And if it comes back to it, that, I mean, just to coincide with it, I'd like to see if the 18 average of highs does go to 68 area, 67. And usually, I mean, they come pierce extra, but so my overall next target level is 136 and change. Pretty much 140, even 150 on the pierce extra, 144. I got, and these levels coincide, and it's because of the mathematical perfect TIF, but I got levels that just coincide, which is why I'm extremely confident with these predictions. Okay, so we got a new weekend, and the 18 average of highs comes in at 63.68. Okay. So let's go through some next key levels. 209.85 after that. But those become very shorter term levels because, like, really, quite frankly, getting above 136, I'm going to be really more focused on that of what the next major level is. And I call that previous high. That's $420. That was what the high was in December of 2017. 420. Now within the line in the Fibonacci, I've taken the high of 420, divide it by the low, which is about 21, multiply, and then to go to the exponent of, like, this is 23.6, 38.2, 61.8, and 76.4. If it gets above the 136 and holds and stays above it, that's going to be some serious business. And as I go with Fibonacci, in any move, if you can hold 61.8% of that previous one, that's where it becomes successful. And almost you can expect to a spot where that's where you got to give back. And well, in the situation here, we had a big rally from these lows at like $4 to this high. And then it comes back down to like 22. So even though it looked like, and it was a serious decline, it kind of wasn't standard. What so again, I'm gonna show some Fibonacci here. I'm gonna go high divided by low. So let me just find out what the exact low is. We see the high is 420. The low in here is 22.17. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to I'm putting the extra numbers because it automatically rounds, and I want the penny numbers just to be nitpicky. I think I have them a few pennies off on this, but they're all about the same. The low again, 22.17. Yeah, 68.20. I can see here where I got 68.25, 136.61, 54. So pretty much those exact numbers. There's a 209.78. Now, if we change it up a bit, and I'm going to keep the high at 420 again. But what I want to do is I want to take it from the lows. And which lows do I choose? Well, this thing like broke out, and wow, did it break out. So I can do the breakout lows. Where did it break out from? Well, we have a low here of 403. Then we have a low the previous day of, well, let me just take a look. What did the market look like beforehand? You know, you pretty much have to go with these ones here. Either way, it doesn't make much of a difference. Low is 332. So the key numbers were like 2109. Oh, really? How do you do? 2109. Was this low again? Like 2217. So you can be like, yeah, what happens if we do the breakout lows instead? Like, say, actually, let's see if we can find better breakout lows by using the daily. I mean, yeah, it's, what was the lows? $426. even 4 even. So they got 23.67. I can go a little bit under, get like perfect on that low. So I'd be like, oh, it was like $3.75. And again, you're in the general area. They all work out. But even sometimes you might want to try to find the better number just to see which ones work out the best. But as it goes, 22.74. And when I go back to here, I'm going to push this to scroll this to the very end. So I'm just going to go really fast. We got 68.25, 136. There's 69, 137. So those same numbers are pretty much in there because they coincide. And if I reduce this just a little bit more, they would exactly match within the right point. Because anytime you come back and you give back that these perfect Fibonacci corrections, they're all going to keep on working together because all those numbers do coincide, work together that way. So with that being said, not all the times do markets quote unquote cooperate in giving back that 61.8. This time it did. But if they do or they don't, I'm always going to like to look at the same way for where I'm looking for how to calculate Fibonacci upside. And that is, I want a good up move, up for upside, yes. So up move is key low to key high. Some sort of damn good correction, and oh my goodness, large big time correction. Big time price, a lot of time. I mean, we really got to see this thing get above 140, 150 to be super confident that these things are going to be really coming in any type of near term, and I think it's going to be doing such in that time, but I want to do whatever this 61.8% correction is, which is like 22.25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take high, and in this case, I'm just going to use even numbers because the numbers are just so big now. And the low, 22.25. High divided by low, so this number is going to be like 19 or something in that area, to the exponent of 1.618. And I'm going to multiply it again by the low of 22.25. And that gives me a price objective of $2,581. That is my price objective going north of 400. That would be better than a 100x gain from these lows here. Is that too much? I mean, this did it before, 4 to 420. I mean, it'd be the exact same thing, really. It's just another match if you look at it from that way. From where you go from your big lows, if you will, and big lows like the lowest lows type thing, to your where you're trying to think where the high, or trying to calculate, predict, if you will, where the highest highs for the next key A, B, C, D, E, F type of move is going to be. This being A, this being B, this being C. So what D will be, that is another way of putting it. All right. So then, thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.